then as 10 lakhs. So it will be convenient if I take a bigger value, because in any of the entries I need to subtract, I should have a bigger value. So I for thinking that in mind, keeping that in mind, I've taken let long term debt be 20 lakh and shareholders fund be 10 lakh. Right. So if we take debt as 20 lakh and fund as 10 lakh, we will get the ratio 2:1. Now, the first case is issue of equity shares for purchase of plant and machinery for 10 lakh. We know that equity shares are issued to purchase plant and machinery. We've done a similar. Plant and machinery will impact fixed assets. Fixed assets will not affect both debt and equity, but issue of equity shares will, you can say, will increase equity, because due to issue of, you can say, shares, equity will increase by 10 lakh. So you will say 20 lakh divided by 10 lakh plus 10 lakh, 20 lakh divided by 20 lakh, 1:1, the ratio is coming. So you can say that debt equity ratio is decreasing due to issue of equity shares for purchase of plant and machinery for 10 lakhs, right? Now, then you have issue of preference shares for redemption of 13% debentures worth 10 lakh. So redemption of debentures worth 10 lakh, issue of preference shares, right? For redemption of debentures. So we have redemption of debenture means that the debt has decreased, redeemed, debenture redeemed. It means redeemed, paid. Debt will reduce due to redemption of debentures, and on the other hand, there is issue of preference shares for redeeming the debentures. So issue of preference shares will increase equity, right? So you have debt will decrease 20 lakh minus 10 lakh, equity will increase 10 from 10 lakh plus 10 lakh due to issue of preference shares, and debt will decrease due to redemption of debentures. So if you find it out, it comes out to be 0.5:1. So the debt equity ratio has reduced. Reason is I've already explained. Then next is purchase of fixed asset on long term deferred payment. Deferred payment is payment, uh, future payment, right? So deferred means any future payment. So you can now understand by deferred payment means the fixed asset have been taken on loan, no value has have been given, so you can explain it directly. So purchase of fixed asset on long term deferred payment means debt will increase, long term debt will increase. So debt will increase, equity will not change due to purchase of fixed assets. So since the numerator debt is increasing, ratio will improve or increase, right? I hope it is clear to you. So now we will move on to the next ratio, solvency. It's the second solvency ratio. The second solvency ratio is total asset over debt ratio, right? Total asset over debt ratio. So total asset over debt ratio, total asset to debt ratio, it is the second long-term solvency ratio. Of course, it is easy. You have to take total assets divided by debt. It's a pure ratio because it is 1:1, right? So total assets, we know it's sum of non-current assets plus current assets. Non-current assets we know are assets like tangible plus intangible assets, non-current investments plus long-term loans and advances. All of these tangible, intangible assets, non-current investments, long-term loans and advances, you've already learned in chapter 1. These are all non-current assets. Now, current assets, we have current investment, inventories, even now, please note, this is very important. If you remember, we excluded spare part stores and loose tools while calculating, you can say, the current ratio. Why we subtracted that? Right here, we are just not, uh, we are comparing total assets with debt, right? So in this case, since we are taking total assets, so we are not, it is not that how we comparing how much are the total assets with respect to debt. Here we will be taking all assets, all current assets, not like current ratio or quick ratio where loose tools and spare parts were not taken, right? In quick ratio, we never took, or the whole of the inventory was not taken all. So here, please note, don't keep it in mind. that in ratios we never take loose tools and spare parts of the part of inventory. You don't take it in current ratio and quick ratio, but you do take in other ratios, right? Then comes trade receivables plus cash and cash equivalents plus short-term loans and advances plus other current assets. So this is a list of non-current assets and current assets. If you know all the heads and subheads, the chances of making mistake will be less. So the story is all about, the emphasis is, it is about knowing heads and subheads of balance sheet, right? Then only, or profit and loss account, then only you will be able to do ratio analysis. Now, debt we've already done in the previous debt equity ratio. Debt here stands for long-term debt, not the short-term debt, right? Long-term debt, we have two parts, long-term, or you can say non-current liabilities is also considered as long-term debt. So we have two main parts, long-term borrowings plus long-term provisions. Even other current liability is part of, means non-current liability is part of long-term debt. But generally, if you see in the sums, other non-current liability is missing. Basic only knowledge is required, but then debt will be taken as long-term borrowings and long-term provisions. Or you can also take it if long-term borrowings and provisions are not given, even non-current liability will be considered as long-term debt, right? Now, what is the significance? What is the purpose of measuring this ratio, total asset to debt ratio? Measures the safety margin available to the lenders of long-term debt. See how safe you can say there, the debt taken from the lenders is, it reflects the safety margin because we are comparing total assets with debt. How much are the total assets with respect to debt? Are total assets enough to pay off the debt or not? So in other way, it helps in knowing the safety margin. Debt is covered by the assets of the enterprise. We know that assets, they cover debt of the enterprise. Higher the ratio, better it is. So it should, though it is a payout ratio, ideal size is 1:1, that the total assets should be equal to total debts. Then we say that the company's safety margins are high, right? But more towards 1.1, better it is for the company. Now comes next. Let's take up the sums, right? It is not that difficult, only concept that if you know how to find total assets, total liabilities, then the concepts will be required. Now you have 47, the first sum, total assets to debt. They've given you, it's a direct application. Long-term debt is given to be 16 lakh. Total assets are given to be 24 lakhs. Direct, you just have to divide 24 lakhs divided by 16 lakh, 1.5:1. It's a direct application. Nothing is required. Total assets are also given and long-term debts are also given. So I should move on to the next sum. Shareholders fund is 14 lakhs. Total debt is 18 lakhs, right? So current liability is 2 lakhs. Find total assets to debt. So you have total debt here. First of all, we have to find total assets. They are missing. How to find total assets? If you see, there is no item given of the assets in the question. Shareholders fund is also liability. Total debt is also a liability. Current liability is already given. It's a liability. So we don't have total assets. But which concept will you apply to find total assets? You have to do it. Generally, we do the calculations in working note on notes, right? And then substitution in the ratio is done afterwards, right? So total assets here in working notes, we know that total assets are is equal to total liabilities. You have done it, right? Because I've told you many times, asset side is equal to liability side. We've done shareholders fund plus non-current liability plus current liability. Its total is equal to total of non-current assets and current assets, right? So if assets are missing but liability is there in the sum, we can find total assets is equal to total liability. Apply this concept. So we know that that shareholders fund is given, total debt is given. Total debt reflects its sum of both non-current liabilities and current liabilities. So by taking both the heads, shareholders fund and total debt, 14 lakhs plus 18 lakhs in the sum, 32 lakhs. You get 32 lakhs as the total assets. Right now, we need to find debt. Debt, we know we need. Debt is a long-term debt which is taken in this long-term solvency ratio. It's a long-term solvency ratio. Don't get confused. 10% children get confused which debt it is. In the end, they forget. There's no need to forget. It is a long-term solvency ratio. It means even debt will be long-term. And short-term solvency ratio, that is current liability, current assets. Of course, you have to take everything short-term, right? So debt, total debt is given in the question. If you see 18 lakhs is given in the question. Even current liabilities are given in the question. So from the total debt, if I subtract current liabilities, I will get non-current liability or long-term debt, one and the same thing, right? So total debt, I've already told you, is sum of non-current liability plus current liability. So from the total, if I subtract the current liability, I will get long-term debt or non-current liabilities. So 18 lakhs minus 2 lakhs, 16 lakhs. So if we have got both total assets and liability debt, so you divide 32 lakh by 16 lakh, 2:1 is the answer, right? So now let's take up the next question. You can see it in the book also. Maybe the slide, the words are smaller. If it's not clear to you, you can open up the book. Now here we have, in this question, we have capital employed 22 lakh 20,000, current liabilities 1 lakh 80,000, fixed asset gross 15 lakhs, accumulated depreciation 2 lakhs, non-current investment 7 lakhs, trade receivables are given to be 2 lakh 50,000, equity share capital 10 lakh 50,000, 8% debentures 3 lakhs, capital reserve 2 lakh 40,000, surplus in statement of profit and loss. Debit means loss, right? I told you many times, debit means loss, credit means profit. So debit, it is 30,000. Then you have cash and cash equivalents is 1 lakh 50,000. So this is the list of the items on the liability side and on the asset side. Now we need to find total assets divided by debt ratio, right? Now first we will find total assets. How we will find total assets? If you see, almost fixed assets are given, right? Fixed assets, accumulated depreciation. So you know that fixed asset, I told you yesterday also that you take net value of fixed assets. You don't take the gross value. And how do you get the net value? You get the net value by subtracting depreciation. So fixed asset, 15 lakhs minus accumulated depreciation, 2 lakhs, just see 15 lakhs minus 2 lakhs. Then we have non-current investment. Then we have trade receivables. You will add all these total assets you have to calculate, right? Non-current investment and trade receivables and cash equivalents, both are current assets. So if I add up all of these, fixed assets minus depreciation plus non-current investment plus trade receivables plus cash and cash equivalents, I get total assets. So I'm taking sum of both non-current assets plus current assets. So there are two current assets, trade receivables and cash equivalents, right? So I add them up, I get total assets. Total assets are coming to be 24 lakhs. If I add both non-current assets and current assets, 20 lakh are the non-current assets, 4 lakh some are the, you can say, current assets. If I add 20 lakh plus 4 lakh, I get 24 lakh as the total assets, right? Now we have to find debt. Again, debt is not, debentures are given to you, right? And even capital employed is given to you. So we know that capital employed is sum of equity plus debt. We've done this, shareholders fund plus debt. We've done it many times. If you see, shareholders fund is given to you, fine. And capital employed is given to you. Since, if you can see, only debentures are given. And debentures provisions and are not given. But in the question, I can take debentures as debt. But why have they given capital employed also, and you can say this also, shareholders fund also? It means that if I have to use, the answer will, if it is not coming equal to debentures, I have to take the bigger value. So here we have capital employed 22 lakhs 20,000. You now, how will you find shareholders fund? Which items will you take? Who will tell me? Out of these, equity share capital, debentures, capital reserve, surplus statement, surplus in statement of profit and loss debit. How will you calculate the, you can say, shareholders fund? Who will tell me? Please, I want an answer. How to calculate shareholders fund? Yes? No one? Harsheen, how will I calculate? What is the formula for shareholders fund?
Ma'am, equity share capital plus
Yes.
capital reserve plus surplus.
Plus surplus. But here the very good, excellent. But why don't you raise your hands? Please don't sit like that. You know it. I know you. Most of you know the answers. But we have negative in surplus. We have loss in surplus. I told you debit. Debit means loss. So we will now do, in order to find shareholders fund, equity capital is given 10 lakh 50,000. So 10 lakh 50,000 plus debentures 3 lakhs plus capital reserve. So we have capital reserve 2 lakh 40,000 minus surplus. I will not take debentures. Debentures is part of capital employed. So I'm coming back to it. So the shareholders fund will be equity share capital 10 lakh 50,000, capital reserve 2 lakh 40,000 minus loss in surplus minus 30,000. So by doing it, the shareholders fund is coming out to be, you can say, you can calculate, it is coming out to be 9 lakh 60,000, right? Okay, shareholders fund. So you apply that, capital minus shareholders fund will be debt. So if you calculate debt, you can calculate it out. It is coming out to be, the debt is coming out to be, in this question, 4 lakh 60,000. So if I divide total assets by debt, I will get 2.5:1 is the ratio. So here, again, I'm saying, only thing is, directly the sum is direct only. All list of fixed assets, all non-current assets and current assets is given. You can directly find total assets. Similarly, only thing is that irrespective of the fact debentures are given, we are also given capital employed and the complete list of shareholders fund. So you will not take debentures as long-term loan. You will have to apply the formula that capital employed is equal to shareholders fund plus debt. From that, capital employed minus shareholders fund is equal to debt. That formula that you will use to find total debt. You will see now, by using capital employed minus shareholders fund, debt is coming out to 4 lakh 60,000, whereas debentures are only 3 lakhs. It means it is not complete information, right? So you have to take 4 lakh 60,000. Fine. This is the only thing in this question. Otherwise, all items are directly given. Now let's take up the next question. Next one is, calculate total asset to debt ratio. Share capital is given to be 12 lakhs. Reserve surplus are given to be 8 lakhs. Long-term borrowings 25 lakhs. Long-term provisions 5 lakh. Current liability is given to be 10 lakh. So we need total asset to debt ratio. First, we will calculate total assets. So again, the same concept you will apply since assets are not there. You just have the list of liabilities in the question. So how will you find assets? You will apply the concept that total assets are is equal to total liabilities. If you take total of liabilities, it will be automatically equal to total assets. So total assets, you will write, you will take sum of all the liability required. You have share capital, reserve surplus, right? You have long-term borrowings, long-term provisions, plus current liability. If I add all the heads, share capital, reserve surplus, it is shareholders fund, long-term borrowings and long-term provisions are part of non-current liability, and current liability is separately given as 10 lakhs. So if I add up all these liabilities, it will be equal to total assets. Adding up all the liabilities, total assets are coming to be 60 lakh, right? Now coming back to debt is no need, debt is directly given. You know, debt is long-term debt is sum of long-term borrowings plus provisions. So long-term borrowings are 25 lakhs, provisions are 5 lakhs. So the debt becomes total 25 plus 5, 30 lakhs is the debt. So simple. This is a direct application. Only the concept that we've used here is that total assets is equal to total liabilities. That is it, because total assets were not there. Only liabilities were given in the sum. By adding up the liabilities, I could get make it equal to the total equal to total assets. That's it. So 60 lakh divided by 30 lakh, answer is coming out to be 2:1. Now comes next is the next sum is capital employed 25 lakhs, investment 2 lakh 10,000, land 8 lakh 50,000, trade receivables 2 lakh 75,000. Then you have cash and cash equivalents 1 lakh 50,000, equity share capital 14 lakh 30,000, 8% debentures 4 lakh, capital reserve 2 lakh 75,000, surplus statement of profit and loss is 1 lakh 50,000. So again, we need to find total assets to debt. If you see, list of assets are given in the question, right? So how will I find total asset? Investment is part of non-current asset. Land is a part of non-current asset. Trade receivables and cash equivalents are part of current assets. So if I add all these four items, investment plus land plus trade receivables plus cash and cash equivalents, the total of these items is coming out to be 14 lakh 85,000. So this, all these four items, their sum will make, will get or give us this total assets, which are 14 lakh 85,000. Again, all assets are given. Now we will have to find debt. Debt again, as I told you, as we did the previous, some debentures are given, right? But I will not take debentures. Why I'm not taking debentures? Because capital employed is given. So whenever capital employed and debentures are given, you will not take debentures as long-term loan. We know debentures are long-term loan, right? But then you have to use the same formula. Capital employed minus shareholders fund is equal to debt, right? So capital employed is 25 lakhs. We have to find the shareholders fund. What is shareholders fund now? How can I calculate shareholders fund? Uh, I have equity share capital, I have capital reserve, I have surplus statement profit and loss. So it is, you can say profit of 1,50,000. So I will add three items: share capital 14 lakh 30,000, capital reserves 2 lakh 75,000, surplus, that is profit in statement of profit and loss, 1,50,000. If I add all these items, I get shareholders fund, right? The or you can say, we can call it equity, one and the same thing. Equity, adding of equity share capital, capital reserve plus surplus of statement of profit and loss, equity is coming out to be 18 lakh 55,000. So from capital employed 25 lakhs, if I subtract equity, which is 18 lakh 55,000, debt is coming out to be 6 lakh 45,000. Simple. So we have debt as 6 lakh 45,000. We have total assets as 14 lakh 85,000. So I am dividing to get total asset over debt. So 14 lakh 85,000 divided by 6 lakh 45,000, I'm getting 2.30 is to 1, right? So simple again, direct, only the same concept as I told you, that here we have capital employed minus equity will give us debt, right? And total assets are directly given in the question. Then comes next. Okay. We have now total asset to debt ratio. Again, we have to find total debt is given 48 lakhs. Shareholders fund is given 8 lakhs. Reserve surplus are given to be, you can say, 2 lakhs. Current assets are given to be 20 lakhs. Working capital is given to be 4 lakhs. Now, again, we have to find total asset to debt ratio. So first of all, we will find, you can say, total assets. How will you find? Same. You will find total assets, since assets, only current assets are given. Fixed assets are not given in the question. Then you cannot find total assets directly, because as I told you, fixed assets are missing in the question. So you will use the same concept. Total assets is equal to total liabilities, because if you can see in the question, total liabilities are given, right? So how will you take total assets is equal to total liabilities is equal to shareholders fund plus total debt. The same, a similar question we've done, 8 lakhs plus 48 lakhs, right? So this will give us 8 lakh plus 48 lakhs, 56 lakh will be total assets, right? Which is equal to total liabilities. Why am I not taking this here? Current liability is not given, right? So very easy. Total debt, I've already told you, is sum of both non-current liabilities and current liabilities, right? So shareholders fund plus non-current liability plus current liability will give us total liabilities, which is 56 lakhs, right? Now, again, if you see in the question, we need to find debt. And in the question, total debt is given. So if we know that from total debt 48 lakhs, I need to subtract current liabilities. Then only I will get long-term debt, right? Again, directly, the current liabilities directly are not given in the question. What are you given in the question? Current assets are given to be 20 lakhs. Working capital is given 4 lakhs. So you will apply, in order to find current liabilities, you will apply the concept of working capital. We know that working capital is equal to CA minus CL. So CL will be CA minus working capital, right? So that concept will be required. The concept of working capital, which is equal to CA minus CL. So from that, you can find CL, which is equal to CA minus WC, that is working capital. So 20 lakhs minus 4 lakhs will come out to be current liabilities are coming out to be 16 lakhs. Now we've got the current liabilities. Why we calculated the current liabilities? Because we wanted to calculate long-term debt. So from total debt, that is 48 lakhs. If I subtract current liabilities, 16 lakhs, I get long-term debt, which is coming out to be 32 lakhs. Now 32 lakhs, you can see, is debt. 56 lakhs is total assets. So divide 56 lakhs by 32 lakhs, the answer is coming out to be 1.75 is to 1, right? Now, the next question. Shareholders fund is 8 lakh. Total borrowings are 18 lakh, right? Short-term borrowings are 2 lakhs. Current liability is 6 lakh. So we need to find again total asset to debt ratio. Now let's see. They have given you long-term borrowings. So long-term borrowings R is equal to total borrowings minus short-term borrowings. Can I do it? Or I can say total borrowings are equal to long-term borrowings plus short-term borrowings. So applying that total borrowings are equal to short-term borrowing plus long-term borrowing, the same concept I will apply. So long-term borrowings are equal to total borrowings minus short-term borrowings. So both are given 18 lakhs minus 2 lakh, I get 16 lakh will be the long-term borrowing. Now again, there is no asset given in the list of the items in the question. So again, I will apply the same concept. Total asset is equal to total liability. So I will find total asset is equal to total liability is further equal to shareholders fund plus long-term borrowings plus short-term borrowings plus other current liability, right? So 8 lakh plus 16 lakhs plus 2 lakhs plus 6 lakhs. Total, I get 32 lakhs because all items are given to you in the question. So you can take those items. Fine. I have shareholders fund, short-term borrowings plus long or total borrowings you can take. Short-term, long-term don't take. We've already, have total borrowings plus current liability. It's not other current liability. It's current liability only, right? Giving you current liability, which is 6 lakhs, right? So you add them all, you get 32 lakhs. So you divide total assets are 32 lakhs equal to total liabilities. Debt we calculated 16 lakhs. So we get the answer 2 is to 1, right? I think so. We have only one question left in the solved, which is we can discuss that also. We have time. Let's take up the last question of total asset to debt ratio. Fixed asset gross 10 lakhs, accumulated depreciation 5 lakhs, non-current investment 50,000, long-term loans and advances 2 lakhs, Current assets are 2,50,000. Current liability is 10 lakh. Long-term borrowings are 3,25,000. Long-term provisions are 2,75,000. Calculate total asset to debt ratio, right? Now we have here uh, assets are given to you. If you see, non-current assets are also given and current assets are also given. What are non-current assets? Fixed asset minus depreciation. I said always you have to take net value of fixed asset. I'm repeating again and again, don't do a mistake. So you have fixed asset minus depreciation here, and these are non-current assets. Then in the list, even you have non-current investment. You can see 50,000 non-current investment. You know that non-current investment 50,000 is also a non-current asset. So you take here, you take fixed asset minus depreciation plus non-current investment, right? Then you have short-term loans and advances. These are long-term provision, long-term loans and advances. The long-term loans and advances. Whenever the word advances come along with the loan, you know that advances means they are given to outsider, right? So long-term loans and advances, that is 2 lakh, is again a non-current asset, right? So 2 lakh I've taken for non-current loans and advances. So you have current assets are also given 2,50,000. So we have four items under non-current assets, which are fixed asset minus depreciation plus non-current investment plus long-term loans and advances plus current asset. If I add all these items, I get total assets. Total assets are coming out to be 10 lakhs. Just see 10 lakh, right? Now debt is again uh, two items are given, long-term borrowings are given to you, 3,25,000. Even long-term provisions are given to you, 2,75,000. So we will add up both to get debt. We know that debt is equal to long-term borrowings plus long-term provisions. So 3,25,000 plus 2,75,000, 6 lakhs. So I will divide now debt, total asset 10 lakhs by debt, that is 6 lakhs. 10 lakh divided by 6 lakh is equal to 1.67 is to 1. So we are done with the ratio, total asset to debt ratio, right? You continue with the sum. Any question you want to ask, if something was not clear in today's session to you, you can ask me the question if you want. Any question? Have you understood total assets? How to calculate? Sometimes total assets are not given, total liabilities are given. So you have to apply TA is equal to TL, right? If total liabilities are given, you will calculate from that, which will be equal to sum of total assets. Similarly, other concept that we use today was of capital employed. As I told you, debentures were also given, capital employed was also given. So it is better not to take only debentures because it is incomplete information. So you will be using capital employed minus equity is equal to debt, right? In order to calculate debt. Otherwise, and the third thing I told you, when you take fixed asset, you take the net value of fixed assets while calculating this total asset to debt ratio. And the size of the ratio is 1:1. And it is a pure ratio and it helps us in calculating the safety margins of a company, right? So these were some of the concepts that we used while calculating total asset to debt ratio. Thank you, girls. Thanks for joining. Bye. Take care. Continue with your sums. Keep doing ratio analysis, right? And those who are lagging behind, please buck up and do the sums. Bye.